Hello. Hello, hello. Just waiting. Hello, hello. Okay, I'll just get started. Sometimes it doesn't show me everybody who's listening, so I'm just going to get started because the live's going to stay up anyway. So I will, I saw a little thing say government workers, that the government workers needed. Like, what they stopped? They just fired a bunch of people. And not even because they're bad workers. You just fired them. And now you hiring people. What the hell? What the heck kind of games are folks playing? What you gonna try to hire folks to replace the ones that was fired? What kind of games are you playing? Unless they were doing a horrible job. What the heck? It just says now hiring government workers. I just saw that. The advertisement. Anyway, I just want to talk about how the reason why the truth is banned, and why a lot of platforms seems to be banning the truth. News doesn't want to tell the truth, and then when you have a person that comes out that's actually giving the truth, somehow they go missing. They go unalive. Mysterious things happen to them. Okay, they have mysterious deaths. All kinds of things happen when you have a person who's telling the truth. And the reason why the truth is banned, and it just made me think about this because I was listening to a person, I was listening to a lady who was talking about how you need to have your own narrative and how to get out the false matrix, to get out of his story into your own narrative. And his story means a history that we've been taught all this time, which is full of lies. So when people have an education and they, especially if they have a degree in history, like you have a degree in a lot of lies, but a lot of us have degrees in lies. Even a guy that went to school said he was a, what did he go to? What was his major in school? Was he a physics? I think he had a degree in physics. Either way, he realized he was taught a bunch of lies. And so you go to this whole life, everything you learn, going to school. I think that's why they send you to school is so you can be indoctrinated with a bunch of lies. But anyway, so I was listening to the lady talk about how getting out the false matrix and all that stuff. And we know this is the false matrix. But I often thought about what makes this a false matrix. I often thought about that. What really makes this a false matrix? And what makes it a false matrix is lies. Lies makes it a false matrix. That's why they hate the truth. Because the truth is on a higher frequency. The truth is on a higher vibration. So lies is what makes it a false matrix. And then the minute people start really knowing the truth, and I'm not talking about just the truth about Tyler Perry, I'm not talking about the truth about P. Diddy, I'm not talking about that kind of truth. Honestly, a lot of people knew the truth about them already and they didn't care. So it's not really the truth about folks like that. I'm talking about the real truth about everything. I'm talking about the truth about everything. Okay? And once you really know the truth and you get on that truth vibration, then you vibrate too high and then you're out of the false matrix. And a lot of entities that's controlling the false matrix is because they're not real themselves. So that means that we are falling into an illusion. Because I would think that the ones that's created it, they might be real, but they have to keep people in a lie to keep people vibrating lower than them because they don't want them to vibrate higher. So they have to keep them indoctrinated, keep them full of lies. Now, one thing I want to talk about is This lady was talking about melanated people and melanated people. You know what? I don't care about melanated people. And when I say that, I don't. Here's the thing. I'm really annoyed with people not seeing that a lot of is melanated people are in charge of all of this, and I'm really ready for people to see that. They for some reason they keep wanting to think it's some kind of white man that is in control of all of this. So when folks keep talking about melanated people, we've been this and we've been that, like, you need to understand that it's melanated people that's in control here. Just because you specifically are not in control doesn't mean there's other melanated people that's not in control. I think the biggest lie is, and the biggest propaganda is seeing people who are melanated that's mistreated all over the world. So because you see that, you think a person of lighter skin is in charge, when it's really the darkest person that you can think of that's in charge. So I can't get with this melanated stuff. Just because somebody is your complexion don't mean that's your friend. That's the main one that's selling you out. But anyway, I have to go. Let's see here. So anyway, yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Yeah, you get out the. Oh, okay, I was just looking. Sorry, somebody was trying to open the door. Anyway, yeah. I was like, how do you get out the false matrix? I kept wondering, like, will they let us out the false matrix? How do you get out the false matrix? Now I know you get out the false matrix when you know the truth. That's why every time people get on to make videos really exposing the truth, they get shadow banned. And it's not because they just don't want the truth out. It's a bigger reason for them. It's because that's the end of their reign. They're able to rule because people are filled with lies. They don't know the truth, and that's what keeps them in power. People only believe in lies and not know the truth is what keep these other folks and these other entities in power. And when people start really getting into the truth, they get on a higher frequency, and these negative entities are no longer in power. So they have to shadow ban you when you try to put the truth out. But anyway, I don't have to talk for too long with that. I have to get back to a little bit of work. And that's all I want to talk about really quickly. And I'll talk later.